Welcome to this Flame Guitars video, and you join me once again in my South London workshop. Now, a while back I made a video about the repair of a Gibson Les Paul that had a snapped off headstock. In that video I showed you how I made the repair, which was to insert two mahogany splines or inserts into the back of the neck to secure the crack area. And then once that was done, I then sprayed some dark lacquer over the back of the headstock to obscure the repair. To date, that video has had about 1,500 comments, almost all of them favourable, which is encouraging. But a number of people commented they would have been happy to have seen the repair, to have not obscured the repair with brown lacquer, but just leave it as it was. And I understand that that's a fair comment, and it's a preference as to whether you just leave the repair as it is, visible, or whether you try and hide it, disguise it with some darker lacquer. Now, this Les Paul has also come in for a neck repair, and the owner of this guitar was happy to leave the repair somewhat obvious, just to colour the inserts and the splines and not spray darker lacquer over the back of the repair area. So I thought I'd show you how I got on with this repair, and you can see the contrast between the two techniques, and you can decide which you think is the best approach. So let's come in a bit closer and look at the repair in a bit more detail. The crack line on this Les Paul is across there, and that is a very typical Les Paul crack. What I would say in this one is the crack was more across the grain than along the grain. When the crack is along the grain, it gives you a greater gluing area, and so you're more inclined to do a straight glue repair, whereas this one, because the crack was across the grain, then I think we needed to insert these two mahogany inserts, splines, to strengthen the crack area. There was also quite a lot of fracturing of the finish and the wood in this area here, which I've had to deal with. Some of that was being covered by these mahogany splines, but you can just sort of see a sort of darker area where I've had to do some infilling there. Once the inserts are in place and shaped to the existing neck, then I've shaded those two splines using an airbrush. And you never know until you've finished buffing this area, polishing it out, whether that shading is quite right, whether it's too light or too dark. I think if I was being overly critical, I would say this is maybe a fraction too light. But as I say, I think that's me looking for to total perfection. But on the whole, I'm very happy with how this repair has gone. On the previous video, I shaded the back of the neck, down to about this area, sort of fading it into the existing colour of the neck to obscure the repair area. So I'll put a link to that video, and you can have a look and see which approach you think is best. But thanks for watching this Flame Guitars video.